Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. For this video, we'll be going through an unboxing of the high grade 12144 Gundam GP-Rase-Two-Ten, and this is from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, released by Bandai back in 2020. So, nearing the end of the Re-Rise line, which is fair enough, it was bound to happen. But I thought I would try and get the Rase-Two-Ten pretty much slid into the this set of videos. Now I did pick this up from Hobby Link Japan, so I will include a link to this product as well as other Re-Rise and Build Divers. Boy, I'm having a fun time with words over at Hobby Link Japan. So, being a GP-02 base kit, it was hard to say no. It was very hard, given that I do have a fondness for the GP-02 as one of the first few Gundams I ever saw. So here we have the front of the box. Because it is based off the GP-02, it's not a small box, but that's some very impressive line art on the front of the box, and this kit is definitely very well decked out with armaments. So that's the front of the box. In terms of the bottom of the box, so we do have a bit of a recreation of the cover art with the kit itself, going through various action poses and some of the armaments, and as I mentioned not too long ago, it has armaments galore. There's also a little bit of a gimmick here where the visor can come down as well, which is pretty cool. Somewhat like was it the Sheridan that could do that? And maybe even the Dynamis, but anyway. Slightly different suits anyway. So, different weapons as we've seen. Some of them look to be some general enhancements over some of Ogre's previous weapons and his previous suits. There is a bit of a mode change that can occur. So there's the Rase-Two-Ten, and then there is a variant version, which is basically the Rase-Two ? So there you go, something to keep in mind. Do I want to get two kits of this just to do that? Probably not, but we'll see. More of the weapons that will be available. So some bind weapons and some other close combat weapons. Suffice to say, that is weapons galore. And the only thing he's missing is basically a shield. Although with these extra binders, in a way you can use those as a shield. And then we have some other kits from Build Divers and Re-Rise. Mainly Divers, not so much Re-Rise, because I believe the version prior to the Rase-Two-Ten was at the tail end of Divers, if I remember correctly. Quick look at the top of the box. We have a front and rear shot. Yes, definitely a solid looking kit. No doubt it'll be a very fun kit to build, very solid. And that brief little introduction to Re-Rise that we have seen on the boxes. So now that we've had a look at the outside of the box, in terms of what is inside, I suspect a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags of runners, and the manual at the very bottom there. And I did manage to spot some different front line art on the front of the manual, which is to be expected. But I will open up all these bags of runners and we'll have a better look at what's included. Okay, with everything now out of the bags, here we have the front of the manual, front cover art, 2 different front line arts of the suit, basically his final form of the GP-Rase-Two-Ten, and then his basically his predecessor form, which I think the main difference is just slightly different weaponry. We do have a blurb of the mobile suit, a blurb of Ogre, and I guess a bit of a blurb of how the suit came into being. The front of the manual, back of the manual, pretty much a rehash of what we saw around the box. Interesting how the material Gunpla references itself as opposed to the GP-02. But that's okay. It is still a very nice looking kit. But yeah, a lot of the stuff we saw around the box, so there's nothing new there. But we do have the color guide here at the bottom. So there'll be a lot of red, there will be a reddish brown, be blue, which I thought was purple to be honest. Grey for the body and the weapons, dark grey on the weapons, and yellow sensors. Yeah, I actually thought that was more of a purpley blue than a blue. But I do see purple and midnight blue are part of the color ratio, so there you go. Now, let's see if I can find the relevant page. Parts list, there are a lot of runners to go through. Will be a good amount of X's, especially in the first few runners, but we'll look at those in a moment. And the manual. So building the body, which I think will build exactly like the original GP-02. The head will have bits of the GP-02, but will separate off into the actual dedicated build. Speaking of build, they'll actually be up here at the very top. There's a shared section and then can split off 2 ways. And then there will be some additional weaponry included. Building of the right arm and the left arm. The feet, which look very much unchanged from the GP-02. So there will be some very hefty legs, I can assure you. I think the knee has changed ever so slightly, especially now that there's a sticker in there. The waist, and interestingly enough, I did mention this in a previous video, the actual waist step does suggest 2 cuts at the halfway point to separate the 2 sections into left and right. Putting everything together and then building up those binders. So there's that bit, and then I suspect, there we go. Oh, take that back. Where's missed one page? Still going through the binder build, and they look fairly decently sized. If I remember correctly, I think they also act as external arms. Now it looks like, because you build the Rase-Two-Ten first, oh gosh, don't say that 10 times fast. In terms of switching things back, it looks like you just switch, well, take out the 2 bazooka bits and switch out the claw hands. Oh, and then put in the swords. So that's actually not too bad. I thought it would be a bit more of a significant change, so I guess it depends how much bulky weapons you want on it. And then speaking of weapons, going through the last of the weapon builds and some of the storage options and how they can be used, as well as some of the mechanics of the arms, well, the binders between the internal missile pods, I dare say, and the inbuilt hands / claws. So, a good amount of playability for this particular kit, which is always good. So that was the manual. And funnily enough, for a kit this size, a relatively small sticker sheet. definitely can't go wrong. So some of those will be lenses and things like that. The 2 stickers on the far right will be for the knees, I believe. Now, try and speed through all of this plastic. So, multicolor A runner in the quote-unquote blue, which looks more purple, the reddish brown, and 2 translucent yellow beam sabers. Now, this is from the original GP-02. This runner is back from 2006. Far from spring chicken, so a little bit aged, but still looks pretty good. So that was the A runner in its nice multicolor. The B runner, I don't understand how that worked. The B runner is in this translucent orangey yellow. So that'll be some of your effect parts, which is cool. So that was the B. In terms of the C runner. C runner is all in red. This is pretty much carbon copy from the GP-02. We have the D runner in grey, and yet another carbon copy runner. So a little bit aged, but that's okay. They will be quite sturdy, so don't get me wrong. This will be still a very sturdy kit once finished. We have 2 E runners in red, E1 and E2, with E2 being a bit of a copy of E1, as one would expect. So both in red, we'll have bits of the head, arms, front and rear skirting. What I suspect is a type of GN drive for the back. We have 2 F runners in that purpley blue. They are exactly the same. So this will be a lot of your weaponry and probably more for your general accessories. That's pretty cool. The bazooka bits are quite sizable, and oddly enough, more GN drives. GN drives galore, really. 1 G runner also in that purpley blue, predominantly weapons once again. We have 2 H runners, an H1 and H2. Which would have been a bit of a larger runner back in the day. These are that reddish brown. I must say, you could probably just say it's burgundy. Some more GN drive looking bits. Definitely not small bits, that's for sure. So this was H1 and H2. And then, well, lastly for the main runners, we have I1 and I2 both in grey. So I2 is a 3/4 copy of I1. So I know that will be for the weapons, but hands, waist, probably binders, I would dare say. So that's not too bad. That was in grey. And then lastly we have a bit of an older polycap runner, but this is also in grey. So that brings us to an end of the unboxing of the Gundam GP-Rase-Two-Ten. Yeah, pronunciations. Should be a very fun and solid build. Definitely looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see how the older GP-02 parts interact with some of these newer parts for this particular kit. So I'm definitely excited to see that and see how it all comes together. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there will be a link to this kit and other kits over at Hobby Link Japan from the Build Divers and Re-Rise series for you to have a browse. thank you for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.